Hello and welcome back to Panzer Corps Gold and playing hardball. The Second World War is raging on the Eastern Front. It is the Battle of Kharkov, which we have nearly won. Our trap worked nicely enough. We've nearly withdrawn behind the Oskol River again. We trapped the Soviet forces. They have only 3 BT-5s left. 3 of these tank battalions here. And none of them got away. So let's talk a little bit more about tactics today. Because, let's see. So Emmanuel wrote some stuff. Many thanks for sharing your thoughts. I'm talking now instead of writing so much, because that's a quicker way of addressing this. Yeah, so last episode I already explained some stuff, at least how I understand this game. And at the same time, I would like to point out, because Emmanuel was also referring to some other guy who is playing this game, but like really tweaking the game rules and everything. While I personally, I deliberately don't want to get into the game rules too much, because I rather have this role-playing approach, Like I'm aware that and I pointed that out a number of times, I'm aware that I'm kind of exploiting the game a little bit, because of course I know that there are no more Soviets coming here, yeah. Although, well, I don't know, but I guess, yeah. It would be logical if there were more, but I role-played this in the way that I said before, that we have information from our scout planes, yeah, that there are no forces capable of mounting any form of attack here in the backyard, so to speak. So the Soviets don't have strategic reserves here, at least for the moment, which allowed us to encircle the enemy and crush them. Yeah, but in the real world, I think the Wehrmacht would have had a very hard time, which is why they let parts of Popov's tank columns get away. Yeah, so they didn't have the strength to do that. Yeah. Apparently, at least, so from what I've known. So, and by the way, I would like to refer to the sticky comment in the first episode of this mission, where I've collected some stuff, as always, with every mission. And I would invite you to watch that stuff to inform yourself, because, of course, I can't invest the time here. After all, it's a game, but what I'm going for is the bigger strategic picture. But if you want to learn a little bit more about this whole thing here, the whole historic and strategic situation, then I would suggest that you watch some of that stuff, which I find quite interesting. Yeah. But what I'm going for is like to role play this a little bit. But what also, to get back to the game rules, how I understand it is that the enemy is not attacking if their own casualties would be catastrophic. So, and of course, the AI is not that smart, and the Soviets would actually behave probably differently. Yeah? As you pointed out, Emmanuel, we had one Tiger here, one Tiger 1, by the way. That's our Ultra Tiger, which is pretty good, with our guy here, Heinz Rondorf. So he's a really good hero. And I think that's probably the thing. Like if we drive here, they have no chance. Yeah, I don't know how this would how it would work out if we were surrounded by 3 of them, because that would reduce our initiative. So we've got initiative 11, and these ones have only 5. But I think we would still totally crush them, so they don't have any chance. I think the situation would be different if the enemy had several T-34 battalions here. They would probably attack the Tiger then, but by then we already had destroyed them. Yeah, I think there was in the last turn. There were, I think, as far as I remember, like 2 T-34 battalions left, but we also reduced them significantly. Yeah. And otherwise, I would probably not have done this with the Tiger, although I felt quite certain that it wasn't such a big risk here, especially with this guy. Yeah, because it's not just a Tiger, but it's a superhero Tiger here. Yeah, with the initiative increase, defense, and so on. And after all, the tank gets entrenchment in the forest as well. Yeah, so if we are being attacked by tanks, then we have an additional advantage. It would be different if there had been infantry, and then I wouldn't have driven the tiger into the forest here. Yeah, so I don't know what is going on in your game, Emmanuel. So you said that you would be almost always rushed by tanks, but I would think that it depends. Maybe these were other tanks. No? Maybe you could check that out again. But these are, of course, the lighter tank versions, this BT5. And they have no chance, and that's why they don't attack. And I think the AI is never attacking if their own casualties are really catastrophic. So they can't do a thing, where they just surround someone and rush them. Although I have seen that too, if they can, which is one of the reasons why you don't want to have an isolated unit anywhere where other units can get all around. Yeah, so we've seen that, I think. Or maybe it was a personal game of mine, I don't know. Like in the beginning when I experimented, off camera, I don't remember. Maybe we have some episodes on that where I made a mistake or so. But usually I try to, like this now, to provide some cover by one of our own flanking units, so they can never get all around one unit. So that's also a thing you should always prevent from happening. Then you wrote that you had a hard time to get decisive victories while I get them, while I even lose turns sometimes by attacking unnecessary positions. That's I don't think there are any really unnecessary things, because if you take the towns, you deny the enemy not only visibility in this area, but also the ability to deploy units there. Yeah, I mean, we have some missions where the enemy is just spawning on the edge of the map. Yeah, it could happen here as well. Which in so far it's a super huge risk here, because now we don't have any units down here. Yeah, it could happen. Yeah, but I mean, of course, I'm doing this also to explore the game a little bit, and it's, as I explained before, it's one of my personal goals to take everything, also to check out if we can loot something. Yeah, as the Wehrmacht here. I don't know how it would be if we played the Soviets. Yeah, but I mean, this is the Wehrmacht campaign after all, anyway. So, and but I think that's it. Yeah, you need to check out that the enemy can't hurt you, or if so, then only as little as possible. And in time, your forces are, of course, gaining experience. They are getting tougher, and their survivability is higher. Yeah, and that's, in principle, that's it. Yeah. Maybe, Emmanuel, you might want to post some videos on your own. We could check them out. Yeah, why not? And analyze them. Yeah, but as I said before, my personal motivation is not only just to play the game, but also like to do a little bit of storytelling here. I mean, we all know that it's a very imperfect simulation of what happened in the Second World War here, of course. Yeah, and the advantage of this game here, Panzer Corps, is that it's also rather accessible. Yeah, so I would think that Strategic Mind, which you can also find on my channel, and I'm linking it usually with every Panzer Corps Gold video, that's certainly way more hardcore strategy, so way more things to consider. You can also upgrade your units way nicer with more equipment. Yeah, you've got heroes where you can choose the skills and everything. You don't have so many different units in that regard. But I mean, it's the Pacific, yeah, and they do have other games as well. So they've got Blitzkrieg, and I have to admit that when I got this game here, at this point, I mean, I'm going to play the whole grand campaign, as you know, and I'm committed to this. But if I had known how this game works and how little adjustment to our successes, to all our decisive victories there are, I think I would have rather played Blitzkrieg. Yeah, I have to admit, like the Strategic Mind series, yeah, because they also, I think they tried to modernize this genre. And for me personally, it's kind of more fun. Although, on the other hand, that game is also kind of hard on the eyes. Like, the graphics are kind of exhausting for the eyes, and so far Panzer Corps is way nicer, so you can like really nicely play this, and it's not a strain on the eye. So, but here we are. So let's continue. We have taken everything. We have confirmed that we don't get any loot here. Also not from Shevchenkova. And now let's crush the enemy. So, let's see who could use some experience. You guys are here. You have 450. And the artillery. So what I like is, that's also one tip. Yeah, so artillery that doesn't suffer so many casualties unless you are not careful, so you let enemies get close, should be as strong as possible because they have the punch. Yeah, so therefore we are shooting these guys once, at least once, with everyone. You could also like, yeah, shoot them like so. Let's shoot them with the artillery. And by the way, the infantry could also do something here. So you guys have 434. And I think like our cap was there actually, did we have the information here? Yeah, so the cap is 525 now. Which means, yeah, let's have some attacks here. So they are all suppressed, which means we can nicely attack without, oh yeah, well, without any risk. And by the way, well, this might have been a waste, by the way, because we already have all 3 heroes. But these guys here, they have only 2, attack +2, defense +3, so that's a nice unit here. They're all suppressed, no danger. There you go. And then maybe our Tiger could also attack. So we've got one guy here, defense +2. We got this +1 defense guy, right? Oh, this is a face we've never seen before, huh? Defense +1 is kind of a little bit a waste, unfortunately. Just a minor hero, but well. As we say in German, einem geschenkten Gaul schaut man nicht ins Maul. Yeah, so like a gifted horse, you don't check the teeth. So let's shoot here this one with this. And the plane could actually destroy them all. We have 450. Maybe rather a fighter. You guys have 400. You also have 400. Oh, well, actually, it kind of doesn't matter. It doesn't really. Oh, this one then. Yeah. You guys fly there. This guy has 405. So let's have this one here with 357. Nice. Kill. Very good. And that was even one of our nasty heroes here. I would like someone with better defense or so to balance out the problem with this guy. So, and there we've got the victory. Ending the turn. And the game is, what is happening? What is happening? Oh crap. Oh crap, I'm stupid. Well, now we are finding out what happens. I forgot to take this one here. Well, let's see. Ending the turn. So there, but we've got the decisive victory. Okay, let's see what happens. Outstanding as always, Herr General. I knew we could count on you. With Kharkov once again in our hands, we can use this momentum to continue our advance straight to Belgorod. Yeah, so like 2 days later, after retaking Kharkov, the Nazi German units or troops were using the shattered Soviet situation. So the Soviet defense was shattered, so they could easily take Belgorod. No time for pleasantries today, Herr General. There still is much work to be done. With your successful recapture of Kharkov, The road to Belgorod lays open before us. Your task is to advance north, taking your marked objectives as you go and ultimately retake Belgorod. As before, you are warned not to cross the Donetsk River until after you retake Belgorod, as sizable Soviet formations have been spotted on the opposite bank. Be warned that some of these units may attempt to cross the Donetsk River and flank your advance, but as long as you maintain at least a few defensive units on the river line, you should be able to easily repulse these attacks. Alright. Oh, we get something. We have a Panzer III. Okay, I would have loved a Tiger or so. Should we maybe sell it? So we've got 16,654. Now it would be interesting to know if there would have been a difference. Ah yeah, now we've got 6 tanks here. Yeah, I'm inclined to sell this one here. So we get the prestige and then we can get more of them. And just to confirm this one. It doesn't say here anymore, okay. But it was 6, right? So we have a maximum of 6 elite units. Yeah, let's sell this guy. I'm clicking D like disband. There. So let's see. Belgorod. We need to capture all objectives, capture at least 5 objectives for a marginal victory, okay. So, and we do have some railroads, and now we would desperately wish that we had gotten, yeah, this railgun, the railway gun. This would have been nice. Why can't I get one now? So, but well, so this here is the Oskol River again. That's Burluk, Vovchansk. Okay, well, so we've withdrawn behind the river again after crushing the enemy. Oh, and we've got 3 Sonderkraftfahrzeuge. That's actually a bad sign. Well, okay, so I was thinking about something before. So, we are staying, yeah, we are going to form. So we are going to form 3 groups, I would think. Or so to speak, 4 groups. One group here in our west, on our left flank, that is advancing north. And takes all these towns here, and then swings in. And provides support if needed. To center group, which is taking these towns here, Zuravlevka, and the strategic objective of Oktябrysky, and then the strategic airfield here, and this is probably Belgorod, yeah, okay. Yeah, swinging in there, while our right flank group will clear out the river and keep units here and fortify or defend the river line against any attacks from beyond. But we will also keep, I would think, like something like 2 tigers maybe. We have 4, right? Yeah, we've got four tigers. And I think we'll have 1 tiger in the middle group and 3 here on our right flank group. Depending, yeah, no, I think, yeah, that's probably the best for the best. And then we keep them here. And once we've reached Belgorod, we can swing in because we need to take Jastrebovo. And then we can advance over the river and destroy them from here and take over those towns. There's only 1 there. And swing in. And then if we take this one, we'll gain the extra prestige. And then we can swing north and take everything. Oskol River. Would be better to use the Oskol River anyway. Yeah, so that's the plan. Alright. So, and to talk about history a little bit more, so now we've got the you could say the second stage of this attack. So we recall what happened before Stalingrad happened. That was in the beginning of 1943. So we have March 1943 now. And there was, of course, a shock, and the Wehrmacht was in crisis. The 6th Army was, you could say, the crack unit of the German Wehrmacht. So they were the most experienced, they were the best fighters, they had the best equipment. And losing them in Stalingrad was really a blow to the war effort. And, well, at that point, of course, it was pretty clear that Germany couldn't win this war anymore. They might not have lost it, but they couldn't win this one anymore. And they were hoping probably not to lose it at least, and to have some stalemate. But then they committed so many atrocities, and the ideology was so aggressive and negative. Yeah, as we all know, that the enemies were convinced that they needed to be put down. Yeah, they needed to be destroyed. In addition, of course, to the regular French and English/British Empire motivation to destroy Germany as a competitor on the global scale. Yeah, and the Germans were on the retreat, and Popov's tank army got overstretched a little bit, or actually significantly, and that's where Manstein came in. We recall that Hitler had given the order that Kharkov was to be held, but Manstein convinced him that it was smarter not to have another Stalingrad, but rather to rely on the very, very high competence of the German troops in mobile warfare, and rather retreat and then retake it with lower casualties and the option to really crush the enemy forces. I mean, I think Hitler had the overall strategic picture probably better in mind, because he understood that without the oil from the Caucasus, the war effort was even worse. But at the same time, if they had stayed there in the east, they would have just been surrounded and then crushed later on. And so far, retreating was certainly the smarter option, which also prolonged the war. So that's what they did, and then they attacked the overstretched Soviet forces, crushed them at Kharkov, and that opened up the opportunity to go for Belgorod here, which created the salient. So southeast of here, yeah, so here this is Kharkov, and up here Belgorod, and southeast of here there's Kursk, the Kursk region. Where they literally created the salient and then later on tried to attack. And we recall what I had explained before. So they had literally this backhand method or the forehand method as options after this operation here. The backhand being doing the same thing as before, letting the Soviets attack because this attack would inevitably come, retreat, let the Soviets come, let them outstretch, give them the territory, then counterattack, crush them, and retake the territory. Yeah, that was one option, and the second one was the forehand method to immediately counterattack. Yeah, which actually Hitler preferred, and that's what they did. So, and that was their last attack. And this year, this Kharkov-Belgorod offensive was the last German successful operation. And here we are. So, all right. So, and we've got 17,056 prestige points now. Yeah, it doesn't look like we have anything new here, huh? Tiger 1. No, 3N. 4G, nothing new with the recon. Yeah, and by the way, we didn't get a notification that anything new was available. Yeah, so here in the Eastern Front, and what made actually a difference was that the Germans got the an SS Panzer Corps, a fresh one from France. They were actually rather late, but when they arrived, they actually made a difference. But these were the guys we recall that also had received orders to only surround Kharkov, not attack. And their commander, this SS commander, I think his name was Hauser, if I remember correctly, that guy was involved in the decision to retreat or something. And Hitler didn't feel very, very positively about that. And by trying to take Kharkov quickly, that guy tried to regain Hitler's favor, as far as I'm informed. And that's why he attacked here against the orders and lost something like more than 4,000 men in the attack, which were, of course, also missing afterwards. No? So, and that's our strategic situation here. And what happens next, we shall see in the next episode. So, and we are proceeding, as I said, 3 groups, and then we shall go on. Okay then. So, I hope you enjoyed this one, found this informative. We've wrapped up Kharkov, and now it is Belgorod, and that's actually, is it the mission name? Yes, it is Belgorod. Okay, so here we are. Yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. And next time we are commencing the fighting. We don't need to manage too much stuff here with our units. We are allowed to have 38 plus the 5. So I guess that should be sufficient. Let's see and hope. And we've got these 3 Sonderkraftfahrzeuge. Yeah. Let's see how many Soviet units we have. So we are seeing 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4 airfields, 5 strategic, and then there's another one. Yeah, okay. Oh yeah, well, I would think they have a lot of planes. Let's see. Alright then, so, many thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed this one, and if you did, please do click the like button, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell to never ever miss an episode again on Playing Hardball, and as always, the comment section is all yours, you are heartily invited to share your thoughts, see you next time, bye bye.